I love that song. We are on the brink of Christmas. Well, Christmas Eve tomorrow. Fantasy championships, where the money is made. Super excited. It's been a long-ass year. Finally ready to wrap it up, and hopefully we open up the present, and it's a fucking dub. Anyways, rolling solo tonight. Big Ray, a.k.a. Meat Sweats, could not appear tonight. Storey's doing a game night, swingers night, whatever the hell they do. They do a lot of weird couples things, so I think he's scared to invite me to these couples things because, I'm busting my dick out. Anyways, welcome to the show. There's going to be no show tomorrow, so anything you need to ask, get it in this show or post in the Discord because I know we have 3 games on Christmas. I'm going to go through all the Christmas games. I'm going to go through all the injury notes, all that kind of stuff, and answer all your questions. So, again, I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. So, let's get into it. DK Metcalf suspended 2 games. Also, they have the ability, the Steelers have the ability to avoid his $45 million in guarantees, which is wacky. Now, I don't know if they're going to do this. I think he's still going to be on the team next year. It's not like a situation where they're going to cut him and like he's going to lose $45 million. It might cost him a little bit. I know he's losing the game checks and he got a hefty fine, but just silly move, man. From the video I saw, like there's a cell phone video taking like 3 people away from the blue-haired freak. There was no racist stuff in there. I'm guessing there was some stuff from the previous year when he played in Detroit when he was in Seattle. But not trying to defend DK, but fans need to be better and stop being fucking clowns. So anyways, DK out for the next 2 games. Drop him for fantasy. No need for him unless it's dynasty. Josh Jacobs. Now this one's really irking me, dude, because he is limited. He was limited today, and he's going to try to play again. And we just saw him being not only ineffective, but just not explosive. He looked bad. He fumbled. Dude's clearly hurt. Not injured, not banged up. He's hurt. Like he's injured. He should not be playing. And as a guy that has Emmanuel Wilson everywhere, I need Emmanuel Wilson to start. They should start him because if they don't rest Jacobs for this week or next week or both, they're most likely in the playoffs already. He's going to be a shell of himself in the playoffs, and they're already missing too many players. They need Josh Jacobs to get back healthy. Lamar, DMP, most likely not playing. He's going to try to give it a go, I'm sure, but he was already coming in this game a little banged up with, knee injury, ankle injury, hamstring injury, you name it. He's had everything this year. But now he's got that back contusion, and it had to be serious. Didn't look serious, but the fact that he got injured in the second quarter in that game, did not come back in the game, had all of halftime to get treatment. They were winning the game. It was a must-win game for them. He didn't come back in the game. I wouldn't drop Lamar if you have him, but even if he plays, I feel like you should have a better option. Like I would start Caleb over Lamar. George Kittle, they're calling this a low to mid ankle sprain. Now, the fact he didn't come back in the game is different than Lamar not coming back in the game because George Kittle, that game was well in hand there in the fourth quarter against the Colts. So that was precautionary, but the injury was not. So I feel like George Kittle's a badass. I could see him trying to start, but it seems like he's probably missing it. I would bet 60% chance he does not play. So if you have George Kittle, definitely make other plans. Now, Jake Tunges is a guy that yesterday's Story was talking up. I love Jake Tunges earlier in the year when Kittle was out. He should have had a touchdown. They didn't challenge it. It was a touchdown. He pretty much played every snap once Kittle left the game. So I think there's better options than Tunges. He's more of a touchdown or bust kind of guy. But, I mean, I'd play Juwan Johnson over him, but Juwan Johnson's probably owned. So, but again, try to make other plans if George Kittle doesn't play. Also, if George Kittle does play, what kind of snap share is he going to see? We don't know. So just keep an eye on George Kittle. And the last one is Rashee Rice can be dropped. He is not playing. They play Thursday. They play one of the Christmas games. He's not even, not only has he not cleared protocol or even started to clear protocol, he hasn't practiced, not even on a limited basis. So there's no reason for them to play him, even if he did clear. So you can drop Rashee Rice. Roma Dunze, same kind of situation. Now they play Sunday night, so he's got a little bit more time. But the quote from Ben Johnson today was, we expect him to help the football team this season, which is not a ringing endorsement. That's not saying the guy's going to play. So I would bet a lot. I'd bet a lot that Odunze does not play this week. Luther Burden, I'm more optimistic about, but you're not starting Luther Burden coming off an injury. It's just more about the DJ Moore factor. So if both these guys are out, DJ Moore is I'd say top 15 option. He's the number one there, and he's finally getting some chemistry with Caleb, and Caleb's hot. Also, we just saw Alec Pierce and Josh Downs everyone just crushed the Niners on the Colts with Phillip Rivers playing quarterback. So DJ Moore's a must start. I'm going to get through a couple waiver guys for you guys. I'm going to get to all your questions here in a second. Keep on pounding them in there. If you need something answered right away, just toss me a little $2 super chat and I'll get to it. Not much in the waiver wire. Obviously, all of our teams that are in the finals, we should not be looking at waiver wire guys. But I have a couple teams that, DK Metcalf, for instance, being suspended. I have a team that has Rashee Rice, DK Metcalf, and who's the third one? And there's a third player and that are all out this week. So I'm going to have to start like a waiver wire piece of shit because I have like Chimere DK on my team, and I don't know if I want to go with his route. So we'll start with running backs here. Xavier Scott's a guy just to pick up. So again, certain guys you can just drop, like drop Rashee Rice, drop guys like that. But if you want to just have like shots at it to where like there's an injury, right? Aaron Jones is questionable for this game. It appears he's going to suit up, but they already ruled out Jordan Mason. So Jordan Mason's not playing. And if for some reason they rule out Aaron Jones prior to that Thursday game, that Christmas game, Xavier Scott's a sneaky RB2, man, because he would get all the snaps. He's a good pass catcher. So guy I want on my roster, I don't want to have Isaiah Davis on my roster because unless Breece Hall gets hurt in practice, like even then, do I want to start him? Probably not. And the other two guys in deep leagues and in desperate situations, it's Travion Williams and Raheem Sanders. Those are the backups there for the Browns. And we don't know the status of Sampson. So Dylan Sampson has missed the last 2 games, I believe. Quinshon Judkins out for the year. So we need a running back there. We don't know who it's going to be. It was pretty much a 50-50 split once Judkins left the game. And again, we have no Sampson.
I want to talk to Sampson. Climbing to the moon like that bitch out of Cram.
I've always liked Travion Williams. He was with the Bengals for a long time. Like him a lot. He's more of I would comp him to a Travion Henderson type player, right? Not really a 3-down back, but definitely more of a 3rd-down back. But he's got some juice. He's got some size. He's like 210. So I feel like he can handle the workload. It would probably be Sanders early downs, Travion Williams in terms of like turbo packages, 3rd downs, passing down situations. And the game script would favor Travion Williams there. So I don't mind him as a deep dart throw. Again, not guys we're really looking for, but just it's worth rostering at this point over some other guys. Also, maybe to block your opponent if he's having rough running back issues. 2 wide receivers I want to talk about, mostly just one. It's Mac Hollins. So the Patriots are banged up right now. Demario Douglas is out. He is ruled out. And Keyshawn Boutte is in concussion protocol. So it doesn't appear neither of those guys are playing. Stephon Diggs, they refuse to play over 60% of the snaps. So it's not like he's going to jump up to like an 80% snap share. He'll be the go-to guy, and then Hunter Henry. But Mac Hollins has already been playing 90% of the snaps the last 4 or 5 weeks. He has not seen the end zone in 5 weeks, though. He has 2 touchdowns on the year, but he's playing well, man. He's had 9 targets and 8 targets the last 2 weeks. So I'm desperate in a couple leagues where like I have like Chimere DK as my 4th receiver. I need a flex in PPR, and I'm thinking Mac Hollins. Also, Kyle Williams, another guy. Kyle Williams is almost like the Patriots version of Isaac Tesla. He has 3 touchdowns, I think, on the year, maybe 4 touchdowns on like 15 catches. So he's a big play, dude. I feel like Mac Hollins is already playing so many snaps already. So it's not like he's going to be playing more, but 90% of the snaps is nice. It's just that he's more likely to get, more looks. And again, 17 targets the last 2 weeks. I like that. I think he's a solid player, and he's a team guy. They love him, man. And I feel like they could try to get him in the end zone this game. Again, 5 weeks without a touchdown for him. That's a guy, if you're desperate, man, I would start Mac Hollins. I have a team where I have who do I have? It's where's Storey? I need Storey. I'm lonely over here. This is lonely.
That's right. I'm the boss, but I'm a good boss, and I'm going to allow you to watch. Okay, Breaker. Oh, somebody's coming. Any minute now, the German broad is going to knock on that wall, which is my signal to go in my pants, take out my penis, and stick it through the hole. Then she can go to town.
Hey, honey, you want to take care of this monster for me or what?
There is no way I can picture that as a girl. Frank?
So back to Mac Hollins. I have a team where I have Khalil Shakir as my like 4th receiver who would have to be starting for me this week because the DK and Rashee Rice injuries and suspension. So I'm debating picking up Mac Hollins and starting him over Shakir. Shakir's number in Vegas right now is 39.5 receiving yards. And I don't like the matchup. They're against Philly. So he's going to be facing, one of the best slot corners in the business there. So I think I would take the shot on Matt Collins. I want to go big or go home. So Matt Collins is probably the only one. Kyle Williams is more of an X factor like dart throw, but Matt Collins is, in my mind, a back end wide receiver 3 this week with upside. I love the matchup there as well. So that's just a guy to look at. We're going to do a couple questions here, and then I will get to the Christmas preview. We got 3 games on Christmas. Just so you know, they're on all different platforms. Elite, what's going on, man? Happy holidays, Rob. Hope all is well and hope you're killing it in fantasy. So bring home the gold Sunday. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Hope you're doing well. Jason says, if Kittle's out, who's the best start? Tungus, Barner, or Taysom Hill? Not Taysom Hill. So Storey made a really good point last night about Taysom Hill. That was last week was Taysom Hill. He's not going to be in the team next year, most likely. That was his last home game, and they love him there in New Orleans. So I feel like that was why he got all that run. And it's just it's a classic Taysom Hill, right? No one starts him in the right week. He goes up for 18 or 20 points. The next week, everyone picks him up and starts him, and he goes for 3. So especially in PPR, if it's a standard or half PPR, I'm more likely to want to go Hill. Full PPR, off my radar. I love Jake Tungus, but I think it's AJ Barner, and here's why. So you have the upside of the tush push, man. They use Barner in the tush push. It hasn't happened this year. I don't think he has a touchdown yet, a rushing touchdown yet, but he would be the guy if they get on the half-yard line if they wanted to go that route. But AJ Barner is essentially the number 2 passing option, like Cooper Kupp's dust, and Shaheed's just a big play guy. I mean, they're working Shaheed in more, but Barner is running the second most routes on that team. So I'm going to go AJ Barner, and it's a nice matchup for him because Carolina has really good corners, not really good against tight ends. So give me AJ Barner there, Jason. Best starts this week, Tyler Warren. If Riley starts, Tungus, Barner. Now Tyler, I'm going Tyler Warren. I'm just going to go Tyler Warren. Oh, you have Dalton Schultz too. You know what? I'm going to go Tyler Warren just because I think it's better. And a lot of people were saying it was going to be better with Phillip Rivers because he has no arm strength. But rookie quarterbacks, Riley Leonard's a rookie quarterback. They're best friends at tight end. So I feel like I'm starting Tyler Warren. He got you here. He's still playing every snap. He missed a couple catches here. Now, part of it was Phillip Rivers. He also a couple drops, a couple big hits on his incompletions. But Tyler Warren should have had a bigger day. And I like Riley Leonard, man. I think he's scrappy. I think he's going to look for the tight end. So give me Tyler Warren if Riley Leonard's the quarterback. Not messing with Darren Waller, man. Not at all. What's going on, Wally? What's going on, Jay? Half PPR, Purdy, Brissett, or May? Drake May. I will say this. If George Kittle plays, Brock Purdy becomes, not really close to May, I'd say. I'm going Drake May. He is on a heater right now, and he's way more likely to have a rushing touchdown than either of these quarterbacks. Drake May got us here. I know Purdy just had 5 passing touchdowns, but the Bears defense is pretty scrappy. He's probably going to be without Ricky Pearsall, probably going to be without George Kittle or have a limited George Kittle. So I'm going Drake May. So you're telling me you would start fanning over Kittle this week? If Kittle plays and hits like he's full go and he's practicing in full, I'm going Kittle. If it's, a Josh Jacobs situation, which it wouldn't be like that bleak, but if it's limited or stuff like that, I think I'm going Fannin, dude. Fannin is crushing right now. Averaging 9 targets a game the last 6 weeks. I think 11 targets a game the last 3 weeks. So Harold Fannin's awesome. You saw him have literally line up at fullback and get a red zone, a goal line carry touchdown. So 2 touchdowns last week for Fannin. That was a tough matchup against the Bills. Bills are number 1 in the NFL against tight ends. And he had 4 for 44 and a touchdown, and including that rushing touchdown as well. So let's look at the injury reports, Wally, and we'll check back on Saturday. New Orleans kicker had 5 field goals, 2 extra points for 21 points last week. Yeah, man, he's balling. Also, start your kicker. Start everyone you can against the Jets. That's why Borregales is a must start this week in fantasy. The weather might not be great, but like the Jets just allow you. You're running every play all game into their in their side of the field, on their side of the field. So, I love Borregales this week. Jason, start 2 running backs, 2 flex: Hampton, Rico, Pollard, Rodriguez, Wandale, Robinson, Shakir. So 2 running backs. We'll assume this is PPR. Let me know if it's not PPR, but we'll say it's PPR. Hampton, Rico, Pollard, Rodriguez. So I'm not going to start Rodriguez with that quarterback situation there in Washington. I'm going to start Hampton and Pollard. Hampton and Pollard. And then 2 flexes. Waddle. I'm guessing that's Waddle or Wandale. Oh, it's Wandale. Well, Wandale, Robinson, Shakir. So I think you could start Rico at flex, and then I would probably start Wan'Dale Robinson against the Raiders. I know Jackson Dart had 12 passing attempts, dude. 12 or it was 7 of 13, so 13 passing attempts. They have to let him loose a little bit more than this, man. So I'm gonna bench Shakir. I know it's crazy, but Shakir's running the third most routes in the team, 50% snap share. Really tough matchup there against Philly. So also there's some weather there in I think it's in Buffalo. So yeah, Hampton, Rico, Pollard, Wan'Dale, Kyron, Hampton, Carter, Sutton, Terry, with a quarterback from Walmart. It might be Brett Rippon. I think is going to be the quarterback. They don't want anything to do with Josh Johnson, who's 39 years old. I can't believe that guy's still in the league. I don't think he's played in 5 years. At least started a game in 5 years. So Kyron, Hampton, Michael Carter's off the list for me. Again, this is kind of scoring dependent. You got to start Hampton this week. Vidal's probably not playing, so Hampton's in there for sure. And then it's between Sutton and Kyron. So I got it written down here right now. Terry McLaurin is higher than I thought. 50.5 receiving yards over under this week with a plus 205 for a touchdown. So not exactly great odds. But let me know your scoring, Jason. We are not buying into Taysom Hill, Mark. It's fool's gold, man. And he could be in a half PPR standard. I'm more likely to want to go Taysom Hill. In full PPR, I'm not starting a guy that's not going to get anything. I don't know. I'd rather have a taco.
Don't think just because I got a lot of money, I'll give you taco flavored kisses, honey. Fulfill all your wishes with my taco flavored kisses. Taco, taco, burrito, burrito, taco, taco.
Jason said this is PPR, so I'm going Sutton. I think Sutton has to be started. Is it crazy to bench Kyron? I want to start Hampton over Kyron, so that's in there for sure. It's Hampton, and then it's either Kyron or Sutton. So that would be your call on that one. Those are really close. Tron, I'm too scared to play Dart. I also have Bo Nix, who plays the Chiefs on Thursday, or I could drop Dart for Shuck and stack him with Olave and Juwan Johnson. That is a lot on the Saints. I'm just going to play Bo Nix. Now, here's the weird thing. That game, man, is 36.5 over under Broncos and Chiefs. Broncos are 13.5 point favorites, and Kansas City's team total is 10.5. I don't think I've ever seen a lower team total in my life, because last week the Raiders against the Texans had a 12.5 over under team total. So 10.5, dude, that's like Middle Tennessee State versus Alabama. Legitimately, I've never seen a total this low. That's wild, crazy shit. Now that would maybe be oh, let's not play Bo Nix because how much is he gonna have to throw? I will say this: they're coming off a loss. This is a Christmas game. Sean Payton likes to prove his players' worth. So I would play Bo Nix over Dart. Now the question is Tyler Shuck versus Tennessee or Bo Nix. I think Tyler Shuck's playing good ball. I think I just go Tyler Shuck. I think that's the answer there. Devious traded Bijan and Olave for Dowdle and Chase a few days before the trade deadline. Dowdle and Chase were outperforming Bijan and Olave, and then it flipped come playoff time, win some, lose some. Yeah, I remember you had that. That was when Dowdle was the RB1 there, and it would look like there was no Chuba at all. And then that was Jamar Chase, though. So I think we like that because Jamar Chase and Bijan were a wash. Essentially, it was Dowdle for Olave, and Olave just crushed ass. So, yeah, you do win some and lose some. My opponent has Josh Jacobs. With him being questionable, should I pick up the top running back off waivers and Emmanuel Wilson? Oh, 100% Emmanuel Wilson, just because it's not only blocking him, you could play him. I would play Emmanuel Wilson over Tony Pollard. I would play Emmanuel Wilson over – dude, I might play Emmanuel Wilson over, Kyron Williams, honestly. If he looked awesome last week, if there's no – especially if Jordan Love plays. If there's no Josh Jacobs now, I think Josh Jacobs is going to play. That was the worst situation ever last week because I had the same thing. I had 3 Jacobs teams. I have 10 Emmanuel Wilson teams. And I wasn't going to bench Josh Jacobs for Emmanuel Wilson. Now, I should have benched Josh Jacobs for guys like Rico Dowdle. It wouldn't have mattered because Rico only scored 8. But Josh Jacobs should have still had 13 in that game. If he didn't fumble and he scored that touchdown, he would have gone from 5.8 to, 13 points. So, yeah, definitely do that. Pick up the top running back, and Emmanuel Wilson's your priority. That's your number one pickup, just in general. Not only to block him, but to have him in case there's no Josh Jacobs, you can actually start him against him. Jay, Henderson out. I would bet that Henderson's out, man. That's a gnarly injury, short week for him. I don't think he's playing. They also have Ramondre Stevenson. Why would they rush him back and risk another concussion so soon? They're already in the playoffs. They're probably they're fighting for the number 1 seed, but they don't need him. They play the Jets this week. So, like, if you need Travion Henderson to beat the Jets, then the Patriots are frauds. So I'm not bringing him back on the Patriots. I would bet he's out. Guy I'm playing for the championship asked to split the pot. Do I do it or go for it all? Top, what's your team, man? So this is a thing. So we were talking about it last night. There's ways to do it that's even better than splitting. So what you do is, instead of doing, you say it's 1750 for first, 500 per second. I like what you're doing there. First would be 1250 and second would be 1,000. That's more fair. I don't like that ratio, 750 to 1,750 to 500. I would like 1,550 and 700, something like that. Are you the favorite, Top? Are you in the Discord, Top? Because I would love to look at your team, like look at the matchup, and break it down for you, because this is like a business decision. This is not a fantasy decision. It comes down to fantasy, but like this is a lot of money we're talking about, and it's not worth. If you have a 65% chance of winning, not based on projections, just based on if you know ball, and I know ball, we know ball in this channel, the Discord knows ball. We could help you out with that one for sure. And the last thing you want to do is take a split, and then when you're a giant favorite, he has questionable guys like Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson's his quarterback. He has Kittle at tight end. I'm not touching a split there because his team might be decimated by game time, because we don't even know the answer to those questions. So let me know, Top, if you're in the Discord, post it in there. Mark Twain, who would you start in PPR? Strange, Waller, Kincaid, Okonkwo, or Taysom Hill? I don't think Kincaid's playing this week. They need to rest that dude. I would play Brenton Strange. I think it's Brenton Strange. I'm not going to Okonkwo unless for some reason Gunnar Helm was ruled out. I'm not going to Okonkwo. I'm not going Waller with a terrible quarterback. Quinn Ewers sucks. And Kincaid is not playing enough snaps. He's banged up. I can't go Taysom Hill. I'm just going to go the safe option in PPR with Brenton Strange. Trone starting Olave and Nico at wide receiver, struggling at flex this week. PPR options are Gainwell, Jalen Warren, Devonta Smith, McLaurin, and Debo. I think you had the same exact question last week, like the same exact options last week, if I remember. Olave, Nico. Okay, those are good. So full PPR. I think the answer is Kenneth Gainwell, bro. The answer is Kenneth Gainwell. Because he, without DK there, he's like so safe for 15 points, and they're gonna play both backs, I feel like. So I would play Gainwell over Jalen Warren too in PPR. Start Jacoby Myers or Michael Wilson full PPR. Man, it's probably Jacoby Myers. I have a giant soft spot, Michael, as you know, from Michael Wilson. And you know what? I didn't see anything from Marvin Harrison. I actually saw the opposite of seeing something from Marvin Harrison last week. He dropped a touchdown pass, didn't play a lot of snaps, didn't look spry at all, didn't really look healthy to me. And that's a guy that's struggled with confidence all year, all his NFL career, honestly. And now he's dealing with an injury. He had the appendix before that. Like, I'm not trusting Marvin Harrison. So it's like that makes me want to start Michael Wilson, but Jacoby Myers would be the safer option. I think Michael Wilson has more upside, just because there's so many mouths there in that Jacksonville team. I think this is a big Brian Thomas game. Jay likes McLaurin over his yards and a TD. Yeah, plus 205. I just got to see who the quarterback is, man. I got to see who the quarterback is before I make any bets on that one. All right, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro, and so you guys get more time to get your questions in, and I'm going to go through. Actually, I'll read Top's question here. So, yeah, let's see who the quarterback is before we go down that road, Jay. My team is Purdy, Michael Wilson, Sutton, Bijan, A-Chain, Tyler Warren, ETN, Fairbairn, Seattle. Hurts, Olave, London, Genty, Hampton, Fannin, Kittle. Or Watson in the flex. Oh, Top. It looks pretty close to me. Again, I'm a very visual person. Like, so it's the same thing with me. Like, I need to see it. Like, literally see it on the page, if that makes sense. And you said it's PPR. Yeah, I need to see it on the page to give you. I'm not going to give you a straight answer just because I need to see it. Like, I don't want to fucking steer you wrong, bro. But I like your team. I mean, I like your team. Purdy's hot right now. Michael Wilson, Sutton, Bijan, A-Chain. That's amazing combo there. ETN in your flex. And then Fairbairn, awesome matchup. Seattle's defense, great matchup. Lions defense is good for him, but Kittle's questionable. I mean, I love Drake London, but he didn't show shit last week. Jalen Hurts is in a tough game against Buffalo with weather. Ashton Genty, nice matchup, but, one great game in the last 7 weeks. Hampton, yeah, you have a better team, I feel like, but I want to see it. Half PPR. Dude, and you have the running backs, too. You have ETN, Bijan, and A-Chain. Yeah, again, I want to see it top before I give you an actual answer, but I would lean towards not splitting, but I would love to see it on the paper there. Mark, I remember one year I offered my opponent to split. He said no and ended up crushing him. That's the best. Because sometimes, it's not about, it's just if you need money or if, you have a purchase or something like that, it's worth it just to take the money because you never know. Your players can get hurt. Michael, worried about Kittle. If he plays, you play Kittle if he plays. I don't care. My thing, if it's Harold Fannin and Kittle's coming in a little limited, just play Fannin. But Brenton Strange, those guys, AJ Barner, Brenton Strange, Kobe Parkinson, I'm not fucking with that. I'm not getting cute there. But Harold Fannin, I call him Harry Fanning. Fannon's top 5 tight end. So it's you're not really losing much, and the risk of Kittle getting re-injured is a thing. So, all right, I'm going to hit you guys with the intro, give you some more time to get your questions in, and then it's probably going to be a shorter show tonight because I'm by myself. But, I can talk about football all day. Yeah, I'm lonely tonight, man. None of my guests could come on. I have 7 or 8 options, and they're all doing Christmas stuff. Ray canceled on me pretty last second. So my wife's sick right now. She's in bed. So I'm just chilling, man. And I love Castaway. So I kind of feel like Tom Hanks.
Got to stay here and die on this shithole island, spending the rest of my life talking to a goddamn volleyball. Wilson!
All right. Before I get to the rest of the questions, a couple things. Top, if you're interested, a couple of the other guys I know aren't in there. I said, I don't think you are. First off, here's Helen Hunt. Say hello to Helen. Hi, Helen. How you doing? Helen Hunt without makeup. There she is. What a cutie. Shout out to the Patreon members. You guys are crushing it, man. Keeping the lights on here 7 days a week, fellas. We don't miss days. I am missing tomorrow. That's kind of blasphemous. That is Christmas Eve, and I have no one to come on anyway. I also want to spend time with my wife. But I appreciate all you guys. Not only are you supporting me, you get a lot of good perks, man. Access to the Discord is probably the number one perks. That's the best fantasy chat around. Community fantasy leagues. We're doing 6 or 7 leagues next year. Get on board with those. If we really start hitting here and I can start making some loot, I will be buying one person per league in at random. So you get access to that. Also super fun to talk shit to each other in the Discord, on the show, talk about the leagues. Guest appearances on the pod. That is on the highest tier, but we've had 5 or 6 fans come on the show in the last 4 months. Mark's been on 4 times. Shout out Mark, number 1 super fan. You're the shit. Blake, shout out Blake, media manager. Free merchandise giveaway. I give away one of these hats. Getting shirts here in the next couple months. So I'm going to send those out. There going to be some really good designs here. I have a meat sweat shirt to rep Ray. Also, the other perk is my bets. Access to these bets, guys. I do post the videos of these bets the day of the games, but the odds have changed. They're all player prop bets, minus 110 typically. I don't do alternate lines. Whatever they set it at. 82 and 45 this year. That's 4 straight years of crushing. So you're going to be making money. Everyone that's following, we're all eating, man. I haven't had a losing week since week 8. Do about 8 or 9 plays a week. Generally, usually do 1 every primetime game and then 5 or 6 on Sunday. So we are just crushing these bets. So if you're interested, professionalfanatics.com or link in the description. Also, just a good way to support the channel. We're struggling, but gaining, I like the cult following we have because it's more intimate. I like to be intimate with you guys. You know what I mean? That's what's up. I will be in the championship if I ever made that trade. I would be in the champion. Really stinks. Could have walked away with $1,500. I'll be lucky to walk away breaking. Yeah, I hate that. I have a couple leagues where I hate to look at it after you get eliminated. Me and Storey's league, we co-managed. I made the playoffs in 22 of my 25 leagues. And so I missed the playoffs in 3 leagues. And one of them was me and Storey's league. We drafted on the show. And we had the second most points in Fantrax, 12-man team or league. And second most points by 100, bro. and we missed the playoffs. We get the 8 seed because we just kept on going up against teams that were scoring 180, and we would be in the championship game right now. We did the math. Like, our team just went off in the playoffs, but we didn't make the playoffs. So it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That sucks. So the problem is that you're talking about, the trade. Like, we don't have a lot of regrets in terms of start-sit decisions, maybe a couple, but there's no trades in these Fantrax public leagues. So it's not like we did a trade like you're talking about. That is painful. At the time, though, Jamar Chase, like, I get where you're coming from. I think we talked that one out on the show. If the Saints running backs get ruled out, does that change the stance on Taysom Hill? I mean, Estime is not hurt, and Evan Hull is not hurt, and like Kamara is never playing this year. So they're going to have the same exact thing. And I think Storey's point he made about the last home game, like, he's still going to get work. Taysom Hill's going to get work, but let's think about how the volume came. He got 12 carries, I believe, 4 catches, which is rare for him, and he threw that garbage time touchdown to Chris Olave. So if you just take the touchdown pass away, he would have gotten you 4 for 24. He would have gotten you 6.4. He would have gotten you like 9 points. So is 9 points really that good? Like, how often is he going to throw a touchdown pass? I don't think very often. So I think there's better options. If Estime gets ruled out or something, I'm down with Taysom Hill. New Orleans or Detroit's defense, man, it's going to be Max Brosmer, and that's really nice. This game we have a over under 43.5 for Lions Vikings, minus 7.5. Lions are favored. So, man, I guess the problem is the Titans are playing. They're really scrappy right now. So New Orleans at Tennessee, Detroit's at Minnesota, though. So Detroit's defense is just terrible. That's the one worry. Detroit's defense is bad. New Orleans defense is playing better than Detroit's defense. So I think Detroit's probably the safer option because Brosmer. I will say this. Brosmer was 7 of 9 when he came in the game. Now, that was playing with a lead, but 7 for 9. He looked better. But the last time we saw him, it's hard to actually gauge that too because that was against Seattle. So Brosmer's one start was I think it was in Seattle. So it's like, what's more real? The half he played without JJ McCarthy last week against a decent, an average defense, or the game he played, his first NFL start against the best defense in the league at the time, Seahawks. So you have great options there, Jay. I think Detroit's probably the play, but New Orleans has been playing really well. Jay Moore, really need Henderson to help bring home the championship. Thoughts? I would plan for someone else, man. That's a short week concussion. I don't think they want to fuck with that. They also played the Jets, like I mentioned. So Stevenson's more than capable of carrying the load there. They also love Stevenson. So I think he's not playing. I would bet, if I had to bet one side or the other, I'm betting he's not playing. I think it's more like an 80% chance he misses. So I'm going to go through the Christmas games real quick and get some more questions in here. So Cowboys at Commanders, we have Dallas -7 on the road, 50.5 over-under. So even without Mariota, there's no Mariota. He has all but been ruled out. That game starts at noon, by the way, on Christmas. It's 50.5. So that is just such disrespect in the Cowboys defense. And by the way, Cowboys defense is now officially the last in DVOA among all defenses. They just passed or are worse, I guess, whatever you want to say, than the Bengals, who are historically bad this year. So Cowboys defense is terrible, but 50.5 is high total. Terry McLaurin, 50.5. So that's a big question. Do we start Terry McLaurin? 50.5 receiving yards, plus 205 for a touchdown. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of the guys that are questionable starts or we might have concerns about in the championship. So Terry McLaurin, I have him in 2 leagues, maybe 3 leagues, but I'm only in 1 championship game with him. The other 2 are third place games. So I'm starting him in the third place games because they're really deep leagues. The other one I'm in the championship. It's a 12-team, 3 receiver in a flex league. I have other options. So I was debating, I'm going to take a look at that right now and we'll talk through this one. You guys can maybe help me out. I don't know if I'm going to start him. I probably should start him. If it's Josh Johnson, I'm not starting him. I'm not starting a wide receiver with Josh Johnson. So you know what I did? Let's see here. Where the fuck is it at? It's not on that one. Yeah, I'm not starting any receiver with Josh Johnson playing quarterback because he's terrible. Let's see. It might be this one. Sorry, I should have been paired with this. Yeah, it's this one. This one's against Pierre. So I have Javonte Williams starting over him. So there we go. I'm starting Jamar Chase, Courtland Sutton, and Michael Wilson. So the question is Michael Wilson or Terry McLaurin. Michael Wilson has the Bengals. I'm not starting Terry McLaurin over Michael Wilson. My running backs are Gainwell, Kyron Williams, and Javonte Williams in the flex. So Javonte Williams, This is why I am playing Javonte Williams over Terry McLaurin. Javonte Williams on DraftKings right now, 75.5 rushing yards, minus 170 for a touchdown. So you have Terry McLaurin plus 205 for a touchdown, Javonte minus 170. That's the best odds on the team in that game for a touchdown. So I'm benching Terry McLaurin in that situation. I guess I could play Terry McLaurin over Kenneth Gainwell. I'm not doing that. Gainwell's too hot right now. And then Cowboys defense, I feel like is a safe stream. Now, they don't have a lot of upside, but I feel like the Cowboys defense is not going to allow more than like 24 points. I think it's hard to say because they're so bad, but a decent streamer if there's nothing available. Again, I want to avoid this situation, but the Commanders are a dead team walking. So just food for thought there. Lions Vikings, it's the 3:00 game. Lions at Vikings minus 7.5, 43.5. No real questions there. If you have Justin Jefferson, you're starting him. Lions secondary is terrible. You're starting Justin Jefferson. In terms of the Lions players, start all your Lions. Start them all. You're starting both receivers. You're starting Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery could be flexed if you're desperate. Would probably want to avoid that one. Last game we mentioned earlier, Broncos at Chiefs, minus 13.5, over under 36.5. Kansas City's team total, 10.5. Craziest thing I've ever heard. That's the low. I've never seen a lower total. I've never seen a 9.5 total ever. Chris Oladukin. Sounds like that Street Fighter character. Chris Oladukin playing quarterback. He is bad. The wide receiver core is beat up. Travis Kelce is terrible at this stage of his career. He's just given up. This is just a fucking rough situation. You know what? Let's all take some fucking solace and enjoy the fact that the Chiefs are just dead in the water. And, you know, I am pretty rock hard about this.
Hey, let me get up and I'll give you guys the full tour.
Oh, honey, careful. Your boner.
What do you want me to do? Cut it off?
Yeah.
Seattle or Houston from Mark Twain. I am going Seattle. I know that the Chargers Houston plays the Chargers. I know the Chargers have a really banged up offensive line. It comes down to Justin Herbert's playing at an MVP level right now, and he's got weapons. And Seattle's playing against Bryce Young. And the thing is, Carolina does not need this game at all, really. I feel like they just need to win against the Bucs next week. I think, I guess if the Bucs lose and they win, they clinch the division. But Seattle is playing for the first seed. Their defense has not played well the last 2 weeks. They didn't play well against Indy. In Phillip Rivers' first start. I know they only allowed 16 or 17 points, but they didn't play great. They played awful at home against Matt Stafford, and that was without Devontae Adams. So I think that this defense, they're going to come with a chip on their shoulder here. They're going to try to not shut the team out, but they're going to try to put the hurt on this team. So I'm going Seattle, man. They got us there. It's two awesome options. It's the opposite of McLovin and Muhammad.
I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a fucking book for one.
That's a good option to have there, Mark. Rob says, in the chip, Rob, team Allen, Kyron, Genty, Puka, Wilson, Pitts, Harvey, ETN, Houston's defense, and Myers. Most of them hit hard last 3 weeks, got me in. That's a solid team, man. If that's a 12-team league, you could pretty much probably chalk up a dub there. Josh Allen's concerning just because the matchup. I don't like the matchup against Philly. I think this game could just be a gross little, 20-17 game. Weather is possible there as well, and he's got that foot injury. So again, you're starting Josh Allen though. It's he could have 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. Genty has a good matchup. Puka, Jesus Christ, fuck you, Puka. I love Puka, but he is just destroying me. He cost me four different chances at championships. I went against him 10 leagues last week, and luckily I pulled off 3 of them. 10 out of the 20. We had 22 matchups, 22 semifinal teams, and no, it was 25. Jesus, it was 25 semifinal teams, and we went against them in 10, and we managed 3 of them. We won 3 of the 10, and whatever. I'm in 15 matchups this week. So I like your team, man. Kyle Pitts, even with Drake London back, is dominating. So I like your chances, bro. Jay Moore, would you start Burrow over May? I would start Burrow over May. Yeah, if it's 6 for a passing touchdown, 100% Burrow over May. 4 for a passing touchdown, now it's a lot closer. That's right. They're the only guy. We saw him. He's going to finish the year strong. So Joe Burrow, T. Higgins is back. Like he came back for a reason. That was to make the playoffs. That's gone, but at least they can build some momentum for next year. And Joe Burrow said he wants to have fun again playing football. What's more fun than just beating up on shit ass teams? So they have the Cardinals. It's a great matchup. It's a get right spot. So who's your top defense this week? It's going to be between, I'd say Houston. I would say Houston. I would say Seattle. I think Seattle's my number one. I think a sneaky play for those of you guys that are looking to stream and don't have a lot of options. The Giants. The Giants are at Vegas, and I think that's a good spot. I think that's a really good spot. Vegas played very well last week. I don't think that continues. So I know the Giants defense is poo-poo, but sneaky stream right there. My defense right now on waivers: Lions, Giants, Bucks, Rams, Packers, Cowboys. Lions first, and then the Bucks have. Sorry, I haven't really looked at the full slate. I don't know it off the top of my head right now, but Bucks don't have a bad matchup, do they? Is it the Dolphins? Is that right? Yeah, Bucks at Dolphins. So I would go in that order. I think Lions, Bucks, Giants is the order I would have it in. The Rams could be played as well. I think the Rams maybe the Rams over the Giants. So Lions, Bucks, Rams. That's how I would do it. I think you'll get one of those guys for sure. And again, guys, use all your waiver claims this week. It doesn't matter. You can't take them with you. Just use them all. So I'm not, usually on my home leagues, I stay up till 2 a.m. Once it clears, I pick up my kicker and defenses. I'm using all my, using my waiver. I'm using my next waiver. I'm using them all. I don't care. I'm using all my fab. Like, there's no point in saving anything, even if it's not even worth it. Just do it because maybe you can block your opponent. Went up against Saints D, Puka and Chase Brown. Dude put up 222 points. Jesus, Nick. Saints D, Puka is fine. Like I was just pissed about the Puka thing because the overtime should have never happened. Like that game should have never gone to overtime, and he ended up getting 14 points. Not even overtime. He got, essentially like 22 points that he shouldn't have had if that game just had resolved like it should have. That's why they fired their special team coordinator, because they punted to Shaheed, who is a top 3 returner in the league, and just kicked that ball out of bounds. Seattle was not moving the ball. That game's over with 7 minutes left in the game, and you're not getting any of those Puka stats if Shaheed doesn't get punted to. So, like, that's why I was pissed about the Puka thing. I expect Puka to just rail my little butt, but not in that way, right? I don't want it in that way. It's like, okay, it's fine. If my wife cheats on me, it's cool, but it's not cool, but I don't prefer it. But I definitely don't want it to be with like my brother. You know what I mean? Like that's worse than like just a random dude. So is it worse? What do you guys think? Please don't fuck my brother. And yeah, the bracket thing, I had a couple of those, man, where in one of my, I commissioned 2 leagues, and both my commissioned leagues, first place, top points by a mile. And in one of them, I would have beat the other 2 teams. I put up like 170. The other teams put up it was 134 to 136. So I would have beat them by a bunch. The guy I faced put up 182. And then my other league, I lost to the 6th seed, which is just hilarious. And I was rooting to face that team. The matchups, I was like, I want to face this team. Goes up for 180. So what do you think about playing Downs at my second flex over Reed? Brian, there's better options. I would play other guys. There's other guys available for you. So Mac Hollins, I would play Mac Hollins over both those guys. I'm not playing Josh Downs. That's just, there's 3 guys there, not to mention Tyler Warren, rookie quarterback Riley Leonard. I'm not fucking with that. Jaden Reed's banged up right now, and we don't know the quarterback. So if Jaden Reed has Malik Willis, neither of those guys are even on the radar for me. So I would play Mac Hollins over both those guys. I guarantee he is on the waiver wire, and there's no receivers, healthy receivers there in New England right now. Yeah, you know what? It's Puka. It is what it is. It's what I get for fading him this year. And again, my fade, and me and Storey's fade for him was justified. It wasn't about Puka. It was a little bit because of the injuries, but it was about Matt Stafford and the back injury. And like the fact that Matt Stafford's playing like he's 25 years old after all the reports, and I don't think they were lying about this, and it was like coming off the year before, we saw the Christian McCaffrey stuff. He ended up not playing until week 10 and gets hurt right away. And Matt Stafford's fucking 8 years older than Christian McCaffrey. And there was this, he starts playing and he's fine. He's fine. Like there was like, Stafford says it himself. He's like, man, I'm pretty sure he went to Europe though and got some steroids, if you know what I mean. But he even said, he's like, I'm just going to give it a go. He was not confident in his back holding up. And now here's the problem with our process there is Puka, Jimmy Garoppolo is a fine backup. Puka is quarterback proof. Yes, he wouldn't be the number 1 wide receiver if it was Jimmy Garoppolo. He'd still be top 7. I can promise you that because he's that good. So that was a mistake on our end, taking guys like Drake London over him. And you know what? Drake London did actually kill it when he was healthy, but that's a bad call on my end on the Puka one. A lot of people missed on Puka, though. I don't know how you keep up with so many leagues. I only do one. Yeah, I do 25 myself, and my wife does 11. I need to have a shirt that says my wife plays more fantasy than you, which is true than almost anyone I know. Now, I do draft all our teams. She drafted one team on her own. The last draft she did. Give some flowers to my wife. This is her third year playing. She actually drafted her team for the first time, $100 Fantrax League, public league. She's in the finals right now on the team she drafted. Now, she did watch, we did 10 drafts prior for her teams, and she helped me. We did it together. And she had just known, where we're taking guys, where I like guys. I gave her my notes for I had all the ADPs from the actual leagues I'd done on Fantrax to kind of know where there was value. But she ended up taking JSN. We had a lot of JSN this year. She got JSN. She took Kyle Pitts as her only tight end. She got screwed and didn't get Tucker Kraft, who we were getting everywhere. She ended up with Kyle Pitts, and I was like the one weakness of her team that ended up being awesome. Yeah, man. Even when I was working full time, I would play 25 leagues myself. So I love fantasy, I love football, and I also like making money. And those three things all happen every year. So, Tron, I asked earlier whether to start Bo Nix or Tyler Shuck. No, I don't really care, Tron. I don't really make decisions based on what my opponents have, the stack or whatnot. Like, I just want the most possible points from that's all I can control is how many points my guy gets. So I'd say Bo Nix is probably safer than Tyler Shuck just because he's better. But Tyler Shuck's playing at a pretty elite level right now. And, he's running the goddamn ball. Like 20 yards rushing, I feel like is his floor right now. His lines are always set at like 22.5. So I am probably starting Tyler Shuck, man, just because I feel like he has a higher upside. Again, Bo Nix, how many passes are he going to throw in this game? Pats or Lions, D? No, I'm going Pats. It's Pats because they're against the Jets. I didn't mention. They're probably my number one play this week. It's Pats, Seattle, and Houston. So Pats is the play. Would almost rather just wait until Sunday and play Shuck, I think he's saying. Yeah, I'm playing Shuck for sure. Chargers are also a sneaky good defense. I think it'll be a low-scoring game versus Texans. Yeah, it's a 39.5, 38.5 over-under. That's a rematch of last year's playoff game, by the way, when the Texans just – remember, I think Justin Herbert threw 5 picks. So they definitely know each other, those teams. 175 is fine. At least, I hate it when you lose and it's your fault. It's like when you make a bad decision. When you start Josh Jacobs and you had someone on the bench or, something like that, you try to get cute. That hurts more. And I had a $500 league last year where I made the wrong decision at 3:00. I benched Ridley, started fucking Jerome Ford in a PPR because I was winning. And I was like, I just need 8 points and Jerome Ford gets hurt. I had Ridley in my lineup all week. Like, those are the things that I can't get over. You know what I mean? I'm still not over that one, bro. That was $4,000 it cost me. My opponent has Gainwell. Should I be scared? Yes and no. So Gainwell's, he's not going to catch a fucking 50-yard touchdown every week like he did. But DK being suspended is going to raise his floor a little bit. Not that it already isn't pretty high, but I think they can struggle in this game, man. I really do. I want to look at the line in this game. So it's 33.5, dude. Over under Steelers at Browns. Browns defense shows up at home, dude. 33.5. Browns will show up for the Steelers. So I know everyone's talking about just got to start Warren. You got to start Gainwell. I am starting Gainwell in PPR because I feel like he's a safe bet for 12 or 15. But the Browns, I know they've been gashed. That they were, just so you know. Remember the game? It was 4 weeks ago when Tony Pollard, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, Tony Pollard had that giant 160-yard rushing game. Going into that game, the Browns were the number one team against the rush, number one team against the running backs in fantasy. And since then, they've kind of just gone downhill. But they have the talent, they have the ability, and at home, they're a much different defense. So this is also the potential Myles Garrett sack record game. So I think they're going to be fired up, and I don't think it's like a for sure thing. 33 over under. How many touchdowns are going to be scored in that game? So you're not happy about it because Gainwell's been killing it, but it's also he's due for a dud. And when I say a dud, I mean like 9 points. But I wouldn't bet on 9 points. Stafford went into the hyperbolic time chamber in the offseason. He did something, man. Because that was like, it wasn't like this was April we were talking. They were talking about this shit in September, or in like early September was still a thing. That's when he first practiced. We were talking about this in August. I was trying to remember which months. I'm fried. August. His back was questioned in August, like late August. So it's just wacky and wild what Matt Stafford's doing. You know, good for him. I've always loved Matt Stafford, even as a Bears fan. I feel bad for all these Lions guys, at least the past Lions players, you know, like not even the Barry Sanders, but that whole stretch with Calvin Johnson, like they always just sucked. And Matt Stafford's always just been a class act for me. And just dude's a badass, man. Total badass. Thank you, GT. Thank you. Appreciate you, brah. My ship team is Burrow, Pickens, London, Bijan, Bucky, Bowers, Smith, open slot, Myers, pass defense. So you have the defense and kicker down pretty solid. Oh, Bucky Irving, man. I mean, you got to play him, I guess. But that's gross, man. He is just he's a between the 20s grinder. Doesn't catch any passes. He's just getting like 18 carries for 75 yards and getting 9 fantasy points. It's fucking awful. But yeah, take a look at some other options. Let me know what's on there. Again, I know it's late in the year. I know like the football season's over. This channel keeps on going all the way until next football season. We don't stop. It'll be 4 or 5 shows a week. Once football's over, we're still gonna be covering the NFL playoffs. Also, a lot of other stuff besides football we do on here. A lot of good guests, and still 1 or 2 football shows a week when it's the off season because there's always stuff to cover. Also, a lot of NFL draft coverage. Good time to jump in if you want to get in the Patreon, get in the Discord. Prices are going up next year, just because my bets, guys. I'm giving away these fucking bets essentially. It costs $5 a month to get early access to these bets. And if you've been, a lot of the guys are placing these bets, and yeah, the record is the record, and that's all documented with receipts. I post my actual screenshot of my bets when I make them, so you guys get access to that when I make them. So it's a very lucrative decision for people to get in on this shit. Not to mention the contents and the takes, man. Because if you get on this shit now, next year you'll be the guy that has Chris Olave in every year. We're always 1 year early on these guys, opposed to 1 year late, right? You want to get on the train before it happens, not after it happens. So George Pickens, another guy I've everywhere. And everyone's going to take George Pickens next year in the first round. And I won't have a single share of George Pickens because he's a knucklehead and he's not worth a top 15 pick. He's maxed out. I want guys that are going to be on the down low, right? The value guys. True, bro, about Stafford. Had the 10th pick in my league, and I picked him 10-man league. I had the 10th pick in my league. I'm guessing 10th round. Or, maybe that's a super flex. But that's still, he was going quarterback 22. The RB handcuff strategy hasn't worked out besides low-key, Corum, and Algier. I mean, I wouldn't even call that working out. Corum has been more predictable to start these last 4 weeks. Algier's spike weeks are so random, so that hasn't worked out at all. In the last 2 years, it has not worked out, honestly. Rico Dowdle worked out for me this year. That was one guy because I got those 3 weeks of him that really helped me just solidify like buys because my points, because he got 37. I started him everywhere those 3 weeks because that was very predictable. But the last 2 years, the top dogs have not gone down at all. The only one that did go down was Christian McCaffrey, but that was not even in-season injury. So it's going to happen, dude. I'm going to keep on doing it. That's my strategy. It's won me a lot of money. Also, we're talking about the 12th, 13th, 14th round. Yeah, you can head on some late wide receivers, but I can pick up those guys like Michael Wilson. I think that getting the elite guys, when it does hit, if next year Bijan gets hurt, knock on wood, Tyler Algier, if he's even there, a guy like that is always a top 8 running back, and that's how you win leagues because your team just is too powerful to ever beat. Need help. Best defense to start: Saints, Seahawks, or Steelers? I am going Seahawks. Definitely Seahawks, not the Steelers. Saints are in the discussion. I'm going Seahawks. It's ride with the best defense in top 3 defense in fantasy and in real life. So not starting Travis Kelce, dude. Like I mentioned earlier, the Chiefs have a 10.5 implied total. That's their over-under total on DraftKings. We're going Dalton Schultz. He is banged up, so keep an eye on that, but I think he plays. They need to win this game. Not Waller, not Taysom Hill. It's Dalton Schultz. He's crushing right now. Am I crazy for considering starting Brissett over Hurts? My gut tells me Jacoby will have a better game because we all know how up and down the Eagles offense is. I have a couple concerns about Hurts as well. Sports, what's your scoring? So if this is 6 for a passing touchdown, I can probably get on board with this. If it's 4 for a passing touchdown, I know the tush push hasn't worked. Jalen Hurts isn't getting in the end zone. He will get a rushing touchdown before the end of the year. I think in this game, I'm going Jalen Hurts. I'm not getting cute there. I guess my worry, I got to look into this more because I have Jalen Hurts in 3 championship teams still and a couple third place matchups. They don't really need this game. So they've clinched the division, but seeding isn't that important in the NFC because every wildcard team, I think you want to have the 2 seed because you get guaranteed 2 games at home. And also like the Packers are the matchup you want because they're so beat up right now. The other wildcard teams are pretty dangerous, but I don't know if they really have a good shot at that 2 seed. Let's take a gander here. We have right now the Bears are the 2 seed at 11-4. The problem is the Bears beat Philly, so they have the tiebreaker. So they would essentially need the Bears to lose out, and Philly has to win out to get the 2 seed, which could happen because Chicago plays the Niners and they play the Lions. So I think they still think they can get the 2 seed, and then they have the outside shot for the 1 seed. That's not happening. The 2 seed's valuable. Like I said, 2 home games, and also you get to most likely play Green Bay, which you don't want to play the Rams or San Francisco. Like, you don't want to play those teams, or they don't want to see the Bears either. So if they had nothing to play for, like if their seed was set and this was, a meaningless game, I would play Brissett, but I'm not fucking with benching Jalen Hurts. I know he's not been great. He also has a really high floor. I think he has a rushing touchdown in this game. What's the scoring, though? 6 for a passing touchdown. I am probably on board with Brissett. Kittle game is at 5 on Sunday. If it comes down to game time decision, do we start Strange? I would rather probably just roll with Tungus, man. Just that way you're insulated, because the last thing you want to do is, Strange plays at noon, I'm guessing, and like you're not going to have the actual report from Kittle until after the game starts. So what if you start Strange, you get you 9 points, and the report comes out at 3 that like George Kittle's a full go, and Kittle catches a touchdown? Like, you don't want that. So I'm picking up Tungus. I don't see much of a difference between Tungus and Strange. Lost Hendo. Mark's coming back. 13-man PPR. The keepers, no one left on waiver wire. Marks is coming back, but I don't think I like starting him because Nick Chubb is back. Jawar Jordan's playing well. Like, how many looks are they really? How many carries are they going to give Woody Marks? I don't think too many. 12-man PPR. Sampson or Sanders worth the start with Judkins out? Well, Sampson, I'll get to your question in a second, Justin. Would you start Swift over Hendo if Hendo doesn't play? Even if Hendo plays, I might start Swift over him. I don't think Hendo's playing, so I think you're playing Swift this week, Wally. And again, Niners defense, terrible. I know they kind of did decent against Jonathan Taylor, but they didn't really try to work the run game in there. So, and they were also just stacking the box. That's why Phillip Rivers was chucking the ball over the fucking field against them. So Dylan Sampson, I don't think is playing. We got to see the reports on Dylan Sampson, but I don't know if I want to trust him. I would rather have Sampson miss and play one of the other guys.
I want to talk to Samson. Climb to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
Travion Williams, I prefer in a PPR. I prefer Travion Williams over Sanders, but we got to see what the reports are. Where will Isaiah Pacheco play next season? He is awful, man. He ain't going to be on the Chiefs, I'll tell you that much. I have no idea. He's going to be a rotational back in my mind. He's not going to be a starter anymore. I could see good call, Tron. You think Rodgers was going to do what Favre did for Michael Strahan and let Myles Garrett sack him to get the record? I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening because Aaron Rodgers is a players love him. Honestly, like, it's the fans that don't like him and the media doesn't like him. Players respect Aaron Rodgers. And I think Aaron Rodgers has a pretty healthy respect for Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett's fucking awesome. So he's not going to let him have it, but if the game's out of if it's a 14-point game in the fourth quarter, maybe he lets him have it. I would probably rather have Swift than Rico, Wally. I like the matchup better against the Bucks. Barkley has been a major bust, bro. He has been stepping up, but he is, I can tell you right now, I think he's like running back 10 on the year, and he hasn't missed a game, which means points per game, he's even worse. He is running back 12 on the year. He's averaging 15 PPR points. He has 37 receptions this year. He has 10 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns this year. Yeah, definitely. But he was a top 5 pick. So major bust. Major bust. AJ Brown's been fine. Actually, AJ Brown's been returning value more than Saquon. AJ Brown's top 10th wide receiver in fantasy, 10th overall wide receiver in fantasy. And he was drafted right around wide receiver 9. So he actually hasn't busted too much. Bijan is clockwork, man. Must start, top 3 running back. He's amazing. Yeah, Henderson. The fact that you made it to the ship, though, with Henderson getting hurt. I have 2 teams. I have Henderson in 3 leagues, and 2 of them I was playing last week, and I won both those matchups with Henderson. Luckily, because I had a giant lead, but like that was rough. A couple leagues I was against Henderson were close, and when he got hurt, that sealed my championship appearance. So I'm Very glad about that. Has Michael Wilson been the best waiver pickup this year? I would say so, man. Just because it was similar to the Dowdle thing because it was so predictable when he did it and he performed every time. He didn't bust. And even when, even last week when Harrison came back, he was fine. 2 for 52 and a touchdown. Ooh, I can't wait for that album, big dog. What's going on, man? Kelsey Swift breakup album is going to be a banger. God, I can't wait for that. We haven't seen much Taylor Swift, which I'm pretty happy about. Bo, Brissett, or Trev, I can get him on waivers. We're going to go Brissett here. It's Brissett. It's standard and 6 points per passing touchdown. That's Sports Jazz. What was your question again? You were talking about the quarterbacks. Yeah, man. If it's, I could see you doing it. I could see you going. Where is it at again? That was the Brissett question, right? I could see in 6 for a passing touchdown. I like the matchup, man. I could see you doing it. Michael, Zay Flowers made the Pro Bowl list because the Pro Bowl is a fucking joke. I mean, Tyler Huntley made a Pro Bowl, and that's different with quarterbacks because none of them go, but like it's the biggest joke in sports, the Pro Bowl. No one wants to go to it. Zay Flowers had a fine year, just didn't catch any touchdowns. Eagles, Lions, Browns, Titans, or Giants defense. We're going to go Lions number 1 and then Giants number 2. So I think it's Lions number 1. Nick, that's a good call. I think Old Man Rivers is exposing how much easier it is to play quarterback now. A little bit, yes, but I'll say this. Phillip Rivers, all-time football mind. He had been running this offense and being in communication with Shane Steichen. I'm more of the belief that this proves how good of a coach Shane Steichen is and how good that offense is. And, like, this makes me more skeptical on Daniel Jones, like his performance, like because Phillip Rivers can come in there and do 70% of Daniel Jones when he's a fucking geezer that can't move or even throw the ball with any velocity and coming off his couch. So yeah, it is easier to play the quarterback position. There also is a lot of weapons there in Indianapolis. Championship full PPR, Hampton, Harvey, Rico, Tyrone, Tracy, start 2. It's Hampton and Harvey, top 2. The only worry is the foot injury for Josh Allen and then the weather. So we got to check the weather. Although Josh Allen's probably the best weather quarterback we have. So that's the worry there. But yeah, Josh Allen you don't want to bench him. He's not going to have 2 clunkers in a row. There's no way he's going to have 2 games under 10 fantasy points in a row. So any concern that if Kittle plays, it's going to be another game where he just blocks and is super limited? I wouldn't be concerned about that. I'd be concerned about him playing less snaps, right? Like less snaps is the concern. But we just got to see. It sucks that it's a night game. That's the biggest problem with the George Kittle thing is you got to have Tunges because unless you're willing to roll the dice and start a guy like Brenton Strange, that's the only option. I guess you could wait till 3 o'clock and you can roll with Dawson Knox if there's no Dalton Kincaid. That's an option. Between Swift and Tyrone Tracy, who would you rather start? Man, I might go Tyrone Tracy because they have the Raiders. Full PPR. Tyrone Tracy is going to get more work, but I would play Barner. I think I'd play Barner over Brenton Strange. I'd say Barner has a better chance at a touchdown than Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange probably has more PPR appeal. Pat's kicker for sure. Borregales. He's got the Jets. The Jets just get destroyed by every position, especially kickers. New Orleans guy had 5 field goals last week. Extra points, field goals, kicking bonanza. It's a bonanza. I have Bucky also. So Bucky, Hampton, and Harvey. Hampton has Houston. So I'm going Hampton and Harvey over Bucky. I'm not going Bucky. He's not getting any red zone. He's not on the field on goal line situations. He's not playing passing down snaps, and they're not designing any screen passes for him. Now, maybe that changes, but Sam Darnold, it's kind of a tough matchup there against Carolina. But Lamar's not playing. I don't think Lamar's playing. And even if he does play, I think I'd rather play those other two guys over him. Even if I have Drake May. I'm not worried because you're going to get every point then, man. You're going to get either touchdowns or field goals. I think that the Pats could put up fucking 38 points in this game. 42 points in this game, 40 points in this game. So, all right, a couple more questions, guys. It's a pretty slow night. I have made 50 cents. So I 50 cents. When someone asks me how much money I made tonight or how much money I make, I make 50 cents an hour. Fucking balling. It's all good, boys. A couple more questions. Hit me up. And then, again, no show tomorrow night, Christmas Eve. Me and Storey gonna fucking, you know what we do? We bring it to you every fucking night. Christmas night after the games, 10:45 p.m. Central. We will be live for 2 hours, and that'll be the rest of the Week 17 final preview for you guys. So tune into that one. Also in the Discord, if you have other questions tomorrow, if things change, don't hesitate to hit me up. I'm always on there answering questions for you guys. A lot of perks, boys. A lot of perks, a lot of goodies. Also, you're supporting me and keeping this channel going so I can keep on doing this and don't have to get a job because I'm putting in about 45, 50 hours a week on this motherfucker, and I'm going to continue to do that for as long as you guys will let me, as long as you guys will have me. So also the bets, guys, the bets. Get on the bets. 82 and 45. We are crushing. We are printing money. Printing money. So get on that. What's under that hat? A balding head. A balding head, bro. That's what's under the hat. Who do you think is better all time, Rivers or Dan Marino? Dan Marino, that's not even close. Phillip Rivers is a compiler. He's a good player, but didn't win anything. Dan Marino at least went to the Super Bowl. Dan Marino is so much better than Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers is probably a Hall of Famer. He played long enough, but it's Dan Marino. Well, it's sports. It's not that I'm putting 40 hours streaming. I'm doing about, I want to say 15 hours, 18 hours live. I was doing 20 hours live earlier in the year. But I put a lot of time into researching, also playing fantasy. That's part of the job. But obviously I don't just come on here without being prepared. I'm watching a lot of film. I'm watching other shows, specifically Matt Harmon. And I'm reading things. I'm getting knowledge. The more I know, the easier. The thing is, I do the work that you guys don't have to. You're going to get information from me and my guests that you don't have to go. You don't have to put the work and just watch the show. That's the goal. Chaz will probably be on next week. Maybe not for the rest of the year because he's not going to be on in the offseason. The offseason football stuff is just going to be me and Storey with a little bit of race sprinkled in. And then the other stuff is more fun stuff. And like Chaz is just so young. Like he doesn't know the movies and TV shows and random shit we're going to talk about. I love Chaz, but I'm 37. So like different generations. I need to be on with someone on my own level that can just talk in depth about crazy random shit. And that's just not Chaz's forte. He's a football guy, but we will see Chaz again. For me, Nick, it's for Marino versus Phillip Rivers. It's eye test, man. It's Dan Marino had that thing. Phillip Rivers was good. He also got to play with Antonio Gates and LaDainian Tomlinson and like a lot of really good weapons there. Vincent Jackson, where Dan Marino didn't really have the talent around him. Now, Phil, all-time trash talker. I'll give you that one. Denver's defense for sure, bro. I know the Saints have a good matchup, but Denver, we have, again, the Chiefs implied total, 10.5. 10.5 points for the Chiefs is their over-under. Denver is coming off back-to-back stinkers on defense. They're going to fucking they're going to crush them. They're going to crush them. I can see a touchdown on defense there. Let's see. My phone's about to die. Fuck. Let's see here. A couple more minutes here. Any prediction on shootout games? I would say I think obviously Cardinals Bengals for sure shootout. Sneaky shootout game would be Patriots Jets sneaky shootout game. Seahawks Panthers sneaky shootout game. And then Bears Niners is going to be a shootout. That's for sure. Yeah, I feel you, dude. It's easy to get burned out. I'm a little burned out, but like this is what I've chosen, so I can't just pick and choose. Like I got to go for it. I have people that are not a lot, but enough people in the Patreon that I feel like I owe you guys, the information, especially championship week. I can't just not fucking do a show. Like I'm all in on this shit. I'm a hard fucking worker, and I'm gonna make this shit work. And also, I want to make you guys money. That's the whole goal, right? More money you make, obviously, the more money you would probably donate to me and to be generous. Because if I'm losing you money, I would expect you guys to fucking hit me up with cash. But if my bets were 45 and 82 instead of 82 and 45, I'd expect you to unsubscribe to the channel and probably come to my house with a fucking pitchfork. If you're not starting Ibuka, just drop him. Yeah, I mean, let your opponent fucking pick him up and start him. Story's back on Christmas. Yeah, renew a Christmas special. Phillip Rivers just didn't have the arm talent, man. I mean, he did more with less for sure. And like mentally, that dude's elite, man. Like he was awesome. All right, a couple more questions. Hit them in here, and then I am out of here, boys. I'm gonna watch some Curb Your Enthusiasm and eat a little bit of grub. Kind of hungry. Don't know what I'm gonna have though.
Sometimes you think you have true love, and then you catch the early flight home from San Diego, and a couple of nude people jump out of your bathroom blindfolded like a goddamn magic show, ready to double team your girlfriend, and it stops.
It stops right there.
Yeah, good luck to everyone in their matchups again. Any questions I didn't get to, if you're just tuning into the show now, post them in the Discord. I will get to the questions tonight, tomorrow, even before the game's on Thursday, on Christmas. My wife knows the deal, man. It's a full-time gig, so I'm here to give you guys the information. I will not be – I'm going to have a Christmas vacation sweater on. I think we're going to wear our sweaters. Maybe Storey will wear a hat, although he doesn't like to hide his 8th grade hair that he has. No, I don't have a Santa outfit, although I do have the belly like Santa, so I have that going for me. All right, guys, this was awesome. Appreciate everybody for all your supports. GT gave me a 99-cent super chat. Appreciate you, bro. We love you. And Thursday, Christmas. Crazy. It's already Christmas and it's almost 2026. And the football season's almost over. Fucking wild stuff. All right. Love your life. Respect each other. Stay positive. I mixed it up for you guys there. All right, we'll see you guys on Christmas. Merry Christmas. If I don't see you on Christmas on the stream, have a good one, man. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy all the holidays for all the different religions, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, cheers, boys. Later.